What do you think of the modern TikTok style editing, or like, you know, the very fast paced, very like you would literally need to grab your attention every microsecond?
I like it, but I don't like shorts.
Okay.
It's weird. Okay, so I like the Mr. Beast, the new Mr. Beast style editing, where he actually tells a story. He like hits the emotional beats, not just like, oh, TikTok after TikTok in 10-minute like compilation. But I don't like shorts themselves that are like 60 seconds, because I don't know, they're just annoying to edit, I guess. Well, like, okay, specific shorts are fine. If you, like Connor films a specific video just for shorts, that's great, because that's like a 60-second video, like specifically made for it, that's fine. But if it's like a highlights video that needs to be compiled too short, that's like...
That's what I make you do. But it's so bizarre, because sometimes I don't understand what people want to watch and why YouTube pushes
People don't understand what they want to watch.
I still disagree with shorts being a thing.
Sorry?
Because I disagree with shorts being a thing. Because like you can get views from shorts, you will get subscribers, but you will not get. It will not translate into long-term like views.
It doesn't translate to an audience.
Yeah.
I
mean,
totally.
The discussion's up in the air right now. I'm like on the fence about it, but I think like if you want to make your short successful, you need to make it with making shorts in mind. You can't. It's never like. I know there's like a million fucking podcast clip that gets like repackaged to shorts, but I don't think...
Do you mean Trash Taste?
You know what?
I mean, it's honestly... It's
Subway Surfer at the bottom.
It is. I find it from my personal experience, because I get recommended Trash Taste clips all the time. So obviously I'm looking at it all the time.
Yeah.
I find it way easier to watch the shorts than the clips.
Yeah.
And I will admit that. I think it's just a better format for short form clips.
Well, that's why every podcast now is doing shorts, right? Because I think they just figured that out.
It's an easier way of digesting podcasts.
I guess it's like some sort of a banner marketing, because like when you have like these banners pop up on YouTube, it doesn't want you to actually click on it. It just wants you to recognize the name, like Coca-Cola. You're not going to click on it. You're going to be like, oh, Coca-Cola. Maybe I'll have it later. And that's the same with shorts. It'll be like, oh, I've seen him a couple times. Like, well, you're going to...
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, that's what I think. It's more about just I think that like getting...
Just getting eyes on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because then people are going to keep... If they keep seeing you as a creator or something, that's like the most important thing, because a lot of the time... They just need to recognize that you're someone that, oh, maybe I should watch this guy.
Yeah, they'll be like, who's this guy? Oh,
I keep seeing this guy everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, you know, a lot of the times, a lot of YouTubers rely on sponsors, and sponsors want people or influencers with recognizable faces or brands, right? And so having that kind of awareness, just, it's not necessarily about does the view translate to revenue or growth in any capacity. It's more like, okay, you just need to become more, your face needs to be out there more.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a weird age we're in.
It's a weird world now where, you know, it's becoming more and more like, I guess, old media and old like just marketing tactics, you know. That's pretty much just brand recognition, just getting your face out there.
Get
as
the
much
kids
as
smoking Camel and Marlboro cigarettes.
We're bringing back the asbestos cigarettes, guys. Turns out it's actually good for you.
I should do a short where I just try every cigarette and just see if they actually taste different.
Is it true that
not sponsored, but sponsored by the Marlboro Company?
Is it true that Coke actually used to have cocaine in it?
Yeah.
Or is that like
of
common legend?
Yeah, no, it used to have cocaine in it.
Dude, I wish I could be born.
No,
in the
we
60s.
had in the like I think it was the 50s or 60s. I don't know which date it was with the asbestos thing. Yeah. That was after Coke. That was in Coke. We thought to put asbestos in cigarettes
because Coke was a normal thing back in the day. Like people would have it like, oh, you're like sick? Yeah, have some cocaine.
It was like an ointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people would get
fuck?
like addicted to
We
it.
were born in the wrong era.
you act like
You're
that.
telling me I could get Coke?
God.
That was a joke.
Are you telling me I could get Coke on the cheap?
Well, okay, well, true. First of all, must have been lit in the 20s. Second of all, it's not that hard to believe because, I mean, look at what's happening in America with the opioid crisis right now.
Sure.
It's obvious that we haven't learned any lessons and that we're still going to prescribe and give out stuff regardless of what effect. We had the evidence now to know that it would cause this and we still did it. Why? I don't fucking know. Well, we know
because people will continue to do it.
Well, big pharma money. Big pharma money is powerful in America.
Like this is like
real shit.
It's turned into a Joe Rogan.
I'm gonna like
frogs are gay. No,
swear to
Joe
God,
Rogan wouldn't be talking about big pharma. He's talking about which drug would taste best anally or something. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like this is the first conversation people have before like you fast forward 10 years and like you're flat earthers now. This is where it all went wrong. This is the conversation that starts. It's like you can't trust any
dude,
media.
actually, dude,
I will fact check everything.
I'm going to tell a story because there's no shot this guy listens to this podcast and he'll never find out who this is. I go to this gym a lot and there's a coffee shop that I like to go to all the time on the way back. And I go there, and I've seen this guy who looks like 50 or 60 years old. I've seen him there maybe 6 or 7 times now when I go in the morning, only in the early morning. And I've never spoken to him. And so this time he came up to me and he spoke to me. And he goes, "Hey man, you live in Japan?" I was like, "Yeah man, I live not too far from here." And he's like, "Oh, cool. Where are you from?" I was like, "I'm from Wales." He's like, "Wales, nice place. I used to live in China, but I live in Japan now." I was like, "Oh, cool." I was like, "Where are you from?" It was California. I was like, "Oh, I go to California all the time. I like it. It's great." He's like, "Well, it's not as good as it used to be." And I was like, "Oh, okay. What do you mean by that?" And he's like, "Well, the liberals kind of took over and changed it." And I was like, "Fuck." In my head, I was like, yeah, okay. What do you?
That's the moment where your brain just instantly shuts off.
I was like, and I was like, okay, well, okay, sure, man. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, he's like, yeah. Well, I used to live in China, but the experiments with the bats and all that, I just didn't want to be there anymore. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And he's like, and then I don't know how this even. It wasn't even prompted. He just goes, "Oh yeah, I just think that the president right now." By the way, I voted for Obama. He said that as a way to bear in mind this whole time I've just been nodding.
Yeah, that's like the equivalent of. I have a black friend, by the way, but
yeah, and he's like, I just think right now, I just think that Trump will get it done. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And I don't fucking care what your political leaning else. Just don't do this to people. Why are you opening up with this?
Especially when it's unprompted.
Yeah, I didn't ask. I don't care. I do not care. I did not ask. I'm literally just praying that my coffee will be ready in a moment so I can leave. And of course, when I get my coffee, he won't let me leave. He's just talking to me. I was like, man,
so who'd you vote for?
I just tried to stop him and be like, and then he goes on about Brexit and stuff. And I was like, oh, he's hitting all the greatest hits. Yeah. I'm like, leave me alone. I want to go.
Yeah.
But why did I bring this up again?
I just want to tell a story.
Yeah, I think this was just because I met like a crazy person. Not a crazy person, but one of those people. I guess. Wait, what the fuck were we saying before this?
We were talking about health benefits.
No, we were. That's way far back.
No, we're talking about like old media coming back.
No. We were talking about.
Bro, the dementia risk is kicking in. I hit the 1%.
Can I take a piss?
Sure.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, sure.
While I try and figure out what the fuck we were talking about.
We were talking about
Why did I bring this up? I had a good reason.
We were talking about shorts. And then we were talking about Mudan, bring up the footage.
Mudan, bring it up.
Oh shit, he's over there.
There was a reason why.
Flat earthers.
That's it. Flat earthers. Dude, it's like you will just come across people no matter where you are in the world, and they will seem totally chill, and you let them talk to you for 5 minutes, and you'll just realize the only thing that's changed is that people who we used to consider like kind of out there are so good at being normal and just waiting for the opportunity to say this. They're good at just waiting.
God.
Like they know okay. Not to, I don't refer to them as crazy people. Because I think that's unfair and that's not doesn't help the situation when you call them crazy. But like people with alternative beliefs are very good now at knowing, and they try to suss out people who they think will like not reciprocate. And I think because I think I attract these people because every Uber ride I will never stop them from talking because I'm so fascinated to hear. I love hearing
every
what they say.
time I get in an Uber with you. I've never seen the Uber driver be that chatty.
Well, because I'll prompt them,
and they're not talking to me because I got my headphones.
Well, because I prompt them. Like we had that guy in Florida one time.
I was about to say the Florida guy.
It was this.
Of course, it was a Florida guy.
Yeah, it was.
But it was a Ukrainian guy who was in Florida. I was saying how I attract. I can suss out when people are going to say these weird stuff, and I always let them talk because I always want to hear what they're going to say.
Yeah.
Because I think that like to understand how these people work, I need to like understand like where they're coming from, and so I'm always just kind of like, yeah, maybe you're right. I just say stuff like that, and then just kind of prod them and keep telling them. And this like guy in Florida who is.
He was insane.
Bro, he'd been watching a lot of news. He'd been having strong opinions about Trump.
Watching a lot of Fox.
Yeah, a lot of Fox opinions. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I mean, sometimes you talk to someone and like have you ever had a point where you've talked to someone and it's kind of like you hear a line and you're like,
oh yeah, I know immediately.
And you're like, you definitely heard this from a podcast or something.
You've definitely been on Reddit a bit too long.
Well, it's because they generally, people who with these types of beliefs will say one line that is very like non-committal to their opinion, and they'll see how you react to it. But it's so easy to suss out when they're doing this.
Like I voted for Obama. By the
well,
way.
like when he said like California's not as good as it used to be.
Yeah.
Like that's just such a like subtle way of like trying to suss out where you stand on it.
That's when you hear the Vsauce music, you know?
Yeah, and I'll be like,
he's about to go off about something.
I'll be like, oh man, how so?
Yeah.
And then he'll say this crazy thing. Oh, I guess I say crazy. To me, I mean, some of it is just insane. Yeah. But sometimes they'll say something and I'm like, man, yeah, I guess I got something to think about.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home like, fuck, never talking to that guy again. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like I think I had the exact same moment at a party I was at, like when I was in America, in the Midwest, by the way. That's
bro.
Speaks for itself.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I was at this random party that had a bunch of like it's when you're at a party and you get invited because a guy knows a guy, and you're invited there, but you don't really know anyone there. So
my least favorite kind of parties.
So I was there because some of like Sydney's brothers' old friends were there, but it was kind of like a fucking massive party, right. So they didn't know everyone there. So I was just kind of like sussing out the vibe of some people, and the thing about America, I've like noticed is that you go to a party and sometimes you do not know what kind of like the vibe or the people you're surrounded with are going to be like, and so, I was talking to this random guy, and I can't remember, we got on the topic of like relationships, just because I mentioned I was married and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, how's that going? Are you happily married? I'm like, yeah. And I just asked, are you like in a relationship or anything like that? And he's like, no, I'm saving myself. And so I was like, oh, so I assumed it must be like a religious thing. Right. And then I was like, and this was the line where he was like, no, I've been waiting for a virgin because, I think that
was he an Idol fan?
No, I think that just virgins are the way to go. I think once you lose your virginity, the women just become lower value. And I'm like, this is a fucking Andrew Tate listener. Like it was the
How
first.
do you respond to that?
How do I respond? I was like, oh, cool. Good luck.
This is the exact kind of person I'd love to talk to. I would love to be like, just tell me more about it. What do you think about that? Yeah. Some people might say that that's a bigoted way of looking at it. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Because talking to the guy, he's exactly the type of guy. He was like as much of like a typical frat boy as you could like imagine, like kind of like that kind of like image. It was just the first time that I'd so obviously met someone who had been influenced by, let's say, the podcasting era of things, where you hear verbatim a line that you've heard on some random TikTok that has been recommended for you.
Because a lot of these guys they're just like, hey, my life's not going the way I wanted it to. This guy just told me that it's all women's fault, and then now I guess that's how I'm going to live my life and believe that.
That's just my belief now.
Yeah.
What's it like in Estonia? Huh? Was it fun in Estonia, making friends, talking to people, crazy people?
We don't talk to anybody.
Nice.
It's like the norther you go up there, the less people talk to you.
Yeah.
Like if you're in America, people talk to you on the bus. In like Northern Europe, you'll get shanked.
It's like, hi there.
Like, don't talk to random people. It's weird. Like they'll instantly think you're like crazy or something.
Yeah, that does happen, and I think that's a very British as well. Do not just approach people in public. Yeah. That is just a big no-no.
Yeah,
for sure.
Do you think the average Trash Taste listener, instead of like quoting some very opinionated political opinion, just starts quoting like shitty food takes? Is that how you tell like a Trash Taste viewer?
It happens.
They'll just be at a party and they'll be like,
that guy.
actually, I hate croissant pizza, by the way.
And then they're like, oh God, which podcast did you hear that from? Huh?
Dude, I've been to AX. People randomly come up like, "Oh, hey, Muran," they just randomly start talking about the food takes.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, what do they say to you?
Well, no, I like the boneless chicken, or I like bone in stuff like that.
It's like, I didn't ask.
Yeah. All right, that's great for you.
Yeah. Sick, bro.
Oh, you don't like bread as well? All right, sick.
No, you only eat bread and pasta and rice.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care. I eat everything.
He eats vitamins.
You just said you just eat rice and just pasta.
No, that was like fucking 7 years ago.
Oh, what do you now?
Everything.
Oh.
You like everything? What's your favorite?
Cyanide?
I wish. No, I guess I've become more like you, where it's like Uber Eats is cheaper to be more productive. It's like making food. the amount it takes, like you go to the store, you buy it, and then you make it.
I'm not lazy.
Well, Japan is so cheap. No wonder you fucking get everything.
I try to tell people this, dude. When you Uber Eats in America, right, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You will order a lunch, it'll be like $15. By the time you get it, you've paid $35 somehow.
Yeah.
Fucking shipping here, 50 cents to have like Uber Eats here.
Yeah, and then often the restaurants don't mark up. So a lot of the times you'll just pay the normal amount. I have no idea who's making money.
And just
someone's losing money in this thing.
The overall food here is like half the price as in Europe, pretty much.
Yeah.
Most of my Uber Eats meals come to around $10, which is what I would pay if I went out and just got it anyway.
Exactly.
So for me, it's like, it sounds lazy, and it absolutely is, but I love it. And the fact that I can pay $10 and get a meal delivered to my door that it's good and healthy and great quality is like, this is fucked. The UK could never. The UK absolutely could never.
I think most countries could never.
I'm very lazy.
Yes. And I mean, Japan's always been cheaper to eat out anyway, you know?
Yeah.
So
you know that image of like the soldiers holding up the world and there's like a mum and a kid? There's literally the Uber Eats delivery drivers in Japan. They're holding up Japan right now. They're holding up this economy.
Dead ass.
No, it's like them. And like I heard there's like a shortage of like Japanese bus drivers or something now. I don't know if this is
there's a route in Chiba that used to run 60 times a day and now it's down to 7.
You have buses?
Yeah, we have
Yes.
buses.
But there's also taxi drivers in Kyoto have gone down, I think 25% this year, and they need more.
Damn.
But they've started hiring, some taxi firms starting hiring foreign taxi drivers.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I'm just gonna say it, all right? I don't think that this quality of Japanese taxi drivers is that good that only Japanese taxi drivers can do the job.
Oh, of course.
It's not like in London where they're trained to they have to learn every single street. In Japan, you're like, hey, can I go here? And he's like, what is Tokyo Station?
Well, half the time they're just like, oh, okay, I don't know where that is. So I'm going to use the GPS.
All of them use the GPS, and also I would prefer them to use the GPS because a lot of the times when I think 50, I don't know, not 50%, there's a good chance if they go by memory that they fuck it up.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just like, I always ask them to use the GPS because I'm like, just please go here.
Yeah, I always just tell them, put in this address.
Yeah, so I feel like there's no need for them to be gatekeepy about it. Just let Steve from Wisconsin drive the cabs. I'll do it.